Red Bull Army, did Toto Wolff send Lewis Hamilton on a kamikaze mission to destroy Ferrari from the inside? I don't think it's as implausible as it seems. Follow with me. Just for starters, for the past 9 years, Ferrari has been the biggest rival for Mercedes out of the top four versus Red Bull and McLaren, right? This is the average point difference per season between Ferrari and McLaren in terms of an absolute value over the last 9 years. It's about 209. Now, if you look over the last 3 years, it's even larger. Here it's 106, I think, versus McLaren and Red Bull, which are both more than 2 times more of a point difference. Meaning the team that Mercedes is fighting year over year is Ferrari, not Red Bull or McLaren. That's their biggest competitor. Just to bring the point home, here is the point difference between the teams on a year over year basis. So you see, it's not just 1 or 2 years that are skewing the average. You see, pretty much every year, Ferrari's point difference is the lowest, right? You have 1, 2, 3 years where other teams are lower, but pretty much every single year it's Mercedes versus Ferrari. Whether they're competing for the championship or they're competing for like third or fourth place, it's those two teams. Now, this isn't me being a Lewis Hamilton hater, but his points per race have been declining dramatically, right? So this is back in 2017, so 17, 18, 19, 20, when he won his championships. He was getting about 20 points per race. He was finishing a little bit better than second place on average in every single race, which is incredible, right? But then you see dropping down to 2021 and 2022, he's finishing it around at 17th at 17 points and then to 10th points. So basically he's going to from finishing second every race to finishing third every race to about fifth per race, right? And then it keeps on going down every year. This year is his worst statistical season yet. You see this reflected in Ferrari, who are having one of the worst starts in Grand Prix since 2020, and one of their overall worst starts, right? It's not just Lewis not putting up points. Charles is also having a pretty bad start to his season because the car is not doing well. My theory is that Lewis is coming in and kind of throwing some wrenches in the development. Now, when I say that Lewis is not doing very well, this isn't like a knock on Lewis. Like, I am a Lewis hater, but this isn't part of my Lewis hate. Like, if you look at Michael Schumacher, he had just as big of a really bad decline. This was his last championship. Then he drops all the way down to... So the scoring system was different back then. I actually adjusted the last 3 years of his Mercedes to the previous scoring system, and then I just changed them to 2007, 8, and 9 just so it wouldn't screw up the graph. But you see, like, he's finishing around second place per race at this point. But over here, he's down to less than 2 points per race, which is which, if I remember correctly, was like sixth place, right? So he has this huge decline. And by the way, so does Sebastian Vettel, right? Now, what makes this even weirder is if you look at Carlos Sainz's career, his career has been on like just an incredible upward trajectory in terms of points per race. Now, you can argue that he went from Toro Rosso to Renault to McLaren to Ferrari. I have a whole other video, claiming that he deserves a lot of credit for the increases in those cars. But even so, his time in Ferrari, he's increasing in points. His time in McLaren is increasing in points, right? He is doing better per year, even in those cars, right? So he is constantly improving. Just to show you the difference between Sainz and Hamilton, this was a giant gulf over here, and now in 2022 he beat Hamilton. He lost by a little bit in 2023, and then he beat him in 2024 as well. So the question is, if you are Fred Vasseur, why would you let go of this guy and get this guy? Like, if you are buying and selling stocks, right? If you're a stock trader, would you really sell an asset that is going up this dramatically to buy an asset that's going down like this? What I think was Toto was playing up the tension within Mercedes, playing up how bad of a car it was in 2022 and 2023 to try to get Fred Vasseur to bite on this and think that it was actually Mercedes' fault that Hamilton wasn't performing and not Hamilton's fault, and not the fact that Hamilton was just decreasing in his career every single year, right? So yeah, I think it was a brilliant move. And what I think is even more brilliant about this move is this is Williams's best season in 6-7 years. So this is the points per race. So as you can see, this is the first year since 2017 that they have scored more than 2 points, more than 1 point per race, right? They're currently at 5. The highest that they've gotten since then was like 1.09, right? So this is the first time they are finishing above second place right? And here's why I think this is a brilliant part of the move, right? So by getting Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari, Toto Wolff was able to engineer Carlos Sainz to Williams, right? Now, in the cost cap era, right, you can't just throw money at problems. You need the best engineering talent, right? And what is the best way to get talent, right? It's not just in Formula One, it's just in life, right? The best way to get talent is by showing that you are a place where someone can advance their career, right? So Toto Wolff shows, hey, I got James Vowles this team principal job. And not only that, I then gave him a generational talent, or not a generational talent, but a great talent who can turn around his team, right? That shows to every engineer in the paddock, in all the paddocks, hey, you want to advance your career, go to Toto Wolff, he will look out for you, right? Which I think is going to help him in the long term. So overall, like, this is just a brilliant move by Toto Wolff, right? He got Kimi Antonelli, who's showing that he's a top tier driver, who's going to win a world championship in 2 or 3 years. He got rid of this declining asset. Lewis Hamilton's getting paid $87 million a year by Ferrari for some reason that nobody can explain to us. He is, whether intentionally or not, I think it's intentionally. Ferrari are crumbling right now. He's not putting up any points. The car is looking terrible, and Toto Wolff's protege is now doing incredibly well, which makes Toto Wolff look incredibly good. So I think this was all engineered. I think this was a brilliant chess move by Toto Wolff. Let me know if you agree.